Europe on a whole is on a high alert because of the string of drone sightings. Poland and Romania say Russian drones recently violated their airspace, which the Kremlin denies. European leaders are also working on spurring investment in the EU. It's considered a key to making the bloc more economically competitive. Brussels has unveiled the next stage in its savings and investments union. Part of that is financial literacy, and the EU is proposing tax incentives to get people to invest their savings. Part of the EU presidency, the Danish presidency of the EU is underway at the moment. Nicolai Wammen is the Danish finance minister. He joins me now from Copenhagen. Minister, grateful for your time tonight. Thank you, sir. Let's talk, we'll do the drones in a little later. Let's just talk about the changes that have taken place, the simplicity, if you will, the market accessibility, the general public market access, and the changes that are now being put in place. In other words, the implementation of Draghi. How far are we moving in that direction?
Seen from my point of view, not fast enough. The Draghi report was a significant wake-up call for Europe and for the EU. And it sends a very clear message. We have a lot to build on, but we do not have a lot of time to do so. And therefore, we have to get more investments in the EU. We need to cut red tape. We need to increase our competitiveness because we are in fierce competition with the rest of the world. So when we are to invest in Europe in coming years and also the EU budget, we need to make a budget for the future, not for the past, if we are to deliver on many of Draghi's recommendations.
You see, the problem is that even in previous times, the EU would be almost sclerotic and slow at moving. But you've now got an administration in Washington that's making it up as they go along. And they are making it up so fast. And the EU, with its try this and this council and that meeting, simply isn't responding fast enough.
Well, the Danish presidency have competitiveness as one of our main objectives during our tenure. And I also know that the EU Commission, President Ursula von der Leyen, is very engaged on this subject. And so is the rest of the EU institutions. So there's a lot to build on, but we need to increase speed because time is not our friend here. And we see a Europe where, of course, the decision-making is much more difficult than in many other countries. On the other hand, we also have a huge potential that we just need to unfold. And that goes for public investments, but as Draghi also recommends, it especially goes for private investment. So we need to make it more interesting, not only for European companies to invest in Europe, but for the rest of the world as well.
But can I give you an example? Just reading about the various things in the new 2 trillion budget, which is for the next few years. You've got, for example, the Horizon Europe, the Innovation Fund, the Connecting Europe Facility. You have the ETS. You've got the CBAM-based resources, the corporate resource for Europe, the core, and on and page after page. I mean, I'm interested in this sort of stuff, and I'm bored rigid.
Well, you know, the EU budget is a very, very complicated story. And the truth is that we need to make a budget for a 7-year period, which in itself is extremely difficult under the best of circumstances. This time we have to do it in a very fast-moving world. And what is very important seen from the Danish president's point of view, besides competitiveness, is also, of course, investing in security for Europe and supporting Ukraine to take some of the main issues at hand. So yes, you can mention a lot of programs, and there are more than you can count in the EU. But there are also some very important issues where you need to focus, and seen from our point of view, we need to focus more. And that is actually also part
Right.
of the architecture presented by the new Commission.
Can I just finally, on this, you mentioned security. The drones, we don't know where they're coming from. We know that they're causing chaos, and it's unlikely they're going to go away in some shape or form. It is just another example of the destabilizing forces that the West faces. This must be a concern of you. I know finance is your area, but obviously as a member of government in Denmark.
Well, we have seen violations of airspaces over most of Europe in recent weeks and months. We have seen it in Poland, we have seen it in Romania, we have seen it in the Nordic countries, we have also seen it in Denmark. And this is a time where we need to stand very close together within NATO and within the EU. We have all EU leaders coming to Copenhagen tomorrow. And we are grateful in Denmark that we are supported with anti-drone capabilities from a number of nations right now, from the United States, from Britain, Germany, France, the Nordic countries, even Ukraine, because everyone understands that this, as you mentioned, is not a challenge that will go away if we do not stand united.
Minister, I'm grateful to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Beautiful city of Copenhagen. Thank you, sir.